lately, I don't know if you noticed, Mark, but I am probably the most hated Michigan YouTuber, person on YouTube in terms of my community. Not other community people like me, but Michigan doesn't, because I am super against Connor Stallions, and just like based on like, I want my fan base to be perfect. I don't like it how channels support them. And so, and you need to understand, Mark, social media, they really, OSU and MSU fans and all of these fans, they go at Michigan when a person is supporting Connor Sens like terribly. So I just want to tell you that you had a show, Voice of College Football Michigan, on Tuesday, and listen, they're doing a great job, right? You TJ and these guys doing amazing job. They found a community's growing stronger, all this stuff. But I'm trying to look out for you, Mark, and I just want to say your Voice of College Football, the brand of Michigan, the clip they made on Tuesday of supporting Connor Stalions, how he did nothing wrong. I just want to say, like, doing that is gonna, like, people are gonna make fun out of a brand. Like, you don't understand, Mark, how awful social media is, and like, they'll take clips of that, of them supporting, because 13 minutes I saw, like, I'm a huge Stallions hater. Like, you don't understand, like, the reputation, the stuff that Michigan is going through with the scandal, and people calling us cheaters. Like, I ran the Big Ten 10K, two people called me cheaters when I was wearing Michigan gear. Like, our reputation has really gotten destroyed. And for your post to support Connor Stallions and like it, it's just only gonna make a mockery of our fan base and your channel. And I really like your channel, and I don't want people to mock it, right? So I'm just like, I can't really change your brain. You do what you do to run a business, but I'm just like, what is your reaction on that? Because people will, I don't want your brand to be a mockery, because you have hosts supporting Connor Stallions and saying like he did nothing wrong. And when it's obvious he did something wrong, what was it, scouting during the in season. You can't do it like operation. You can't have like an operation and scout other teams during regular season. You can do it in the postseason when he broke a lot of rules, and they're saying he did nothing wrong. So I don't know what your view on this is.
Well, I've addressed this issue uh, for, of course, the last year and a half in
Yeah,
terms of where I stand on it. And I don't think there's any question that Connor Stallions cheated. That can't be argued in any
yeah,
way.
I agree.
Now, people argue whether it meant anything or if it did any damage or it gained an
Mhm.
advantage, whatever. It doesn't,
Yeah,
nobody cheats for any other reason than to change the outcome of a game. Otherwise, there's no reason to cheat. If you're 100% sure that you're going to win, if you are confident you're going to win, and you don't, if for all the Michigan fans and other people that say, well, that didn't help us, well, then you don't do it. And to the next point, if you've got some rogue assistant running around doing things that you're unaware of, or then you find out that's what's going on, and you're a college football coach who makes millions of dollars and who runs a program that is in the public scrutiny like Jim Harbaugh did, then you should know what's going on, number one. Number two, when you do find out what's going on, then you need to take those matters seriously. And I can't imagine, nobody can explain this to me, why Connor Stallions was allowed to continue to do this for 2.5 years if it wasn't effective. If Jim Harbaugh found out about it, or even the defensive coordinator found out about it, and it was deemed as ineffective, they would have said, stop screwing around. This isn't helping us. We don't need you to do this. Forget it. It obviously, he was cheating and other people knew about it and it helped them. There's no question about that. I don't know how that in any way can be debated, because otherwise they would have stopped doing it if it didn't help.
yeah, and that points me to my next question. I just did not. I was extremely disappointed that for the last 13 minutes of their video last week, they were just supporting him like he did nothing wrong. Like he's, and then it's just going to make a mockery of our fan base when, people are going to cut and clip that video, put it on Twitter, and then it's going to say Voice of College Football Michigan. And like, do you kind of feel like this is something that they should have not done, or you don't really care about this much?
Well, that's a difficult question because I hire people to do a job and to give their opinion, and to, as long as they are not berating people, as long as they are not in any way offending people based on reasonable guidelines, of race and gender and those things, politics and religion, as long as none of those things are being violated, I have given these hosts the latitude to voice their opinion. Now, that doesn't mean that in the case of what you're telling me or another situation that I would not intervene. There has been a few times that I've kicked people off of here because of various things that they've done. So, yeah, there's that tension between me giving freedom to express opinion and, not wanting it to be taken to the degree that it does become a mockery.
Okay, because like I said, they're doing good job and stuff, but this Connor Stallion stuff, having a video of him and supporting him and putting thumbnails on him and all this stuff, it's not acceptable because all these other channels are they're just gonna talk trash. Like, I go to all these Ohio State and like Notre Dame channels, and they don't have amazing stuff to say because they support Connor and they say that they didn't cheat. That's the issue. That's what I'm saying. We cheated 100%, not even a question. Now the final verdict is, okay, how much of an advantage did that give us? It is, did they know every single play, all the plays, everything? If that is true, that they knew every single stuff and they knew every counter, then yes, they should get a really severe punishment. Right now we don't have evidence that how much of an advantage it gave them to do it. And then plus, the coaches and stuff, there's still evidence of did they know or not. I personally think they knew, but like I said, I'm just, like I said, I really love my fan base, Mark, and I do love your channel, your community. And I'm gonna not lie, I've backstabbed some of these Michigan channels because they're talking about Connor Stalions and supporting him, and because I want my fan base to be perfect. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, if you aren't gonna tell them to change that, then I don't know what to say, because like, I don't want your brand to be a mockery. You know what I'm saying? Because you are doing good stuff. You know.
Well, Burks, I appreciate your concern. I
Yeah.
truly do. Thank you so much for that. I'll address that in a second. Let's see. Moose is saying here, no Michigan fan is denying he did not do anything he was not supposed to do, which is a nice way of saying he broke the rules.
Mhm.
But we're saying it's not as bad as rival fans are making it out to be. For the most part, Connor was just better at his job. Okay, well, that's a very flawed statement in a number of ways. First of all, Moose, you can't speak for every Michigan fan, because there are tons of Michigan fans who are denying that he did anything wrong. So that's the first sentence that you made there, that no Michigan fan is denying that he did anything wrong. Yes, there are Michigan fans that deny that he did anything wrong. So that's number one. Number two, who's to say how much of an impact this has? And you know what? I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again. I don't care how much impact it had. It makes no difference to me. If you cheat, you cheated. You obviously only cheat because you fear losing and you don't believe that you can win the game. The next point would be, for the most part, Connor was just better at doing his job. No, he was lousy at doing his job. He cheated. He was not. Now, if he would have been able to pull off espionage within the rules, then he would have been better at his job. But no, he cheated, so he was not better at his job. He was the worst at his job, and therefore he got fired and lost his job. and lost any credibility he would have had. Um, just to look at the guy's LinkedIn page, once this story broke and we all knew about it, and information started to circulate, and his LinkedIn page in particular got out there, I thought, now, if this is the same LinkedIn page that he had when he got hired, then the entire Michigan staff are a bunch of morons. They are complete idiots. Because if they hired this guy and this is how he was promoting himself, then yes, Jim Harbaugh's a moron, and the entire Michigan staff is loaded with a bunch of idiots, and the administration as well. Why you would hire a guy who's promoting himself in such a way? And so Burks, you got to the crux of the matter. For me, at this point, based on everything we know, the crux of the matter for me is we know that Michigan cheated, but I want to know, is it going to be determined when we finally get the results? Did Michigan, did Harbaugh, and I think we had two defensive coordinators at two different times between McDonald and Clinkscale, did they know? We know that Sharon Moore knew at some point. I don't remember the dates on that, but trading text messages. So I want to know if it can be verified that the entire coaching staff knew, or at least to the defensive coordinator role, then they need to get trounced. The NCAA should just blast them.
Yeah, and Mark, TJ is a really smart guy in terms of, knowing his recruiting knowledge, but what he did on the last 10, 13 minutes saying that, you know, how did Connor Stalions know that, he didn't even know he was doing nothing wrong and stuff. He didn't even know about this stuff. Like, he was not, like, it really, really, like, they still don't get it. And naming a membership Connor Stalions Espionage team, it is total clownish if you ask me. And, I'm just, and that's why I go on other channels to talk about, like, our fan base needs to take credibility. We're not perfect. We're not like, oh, everything is right. See, Michigan fans, it's like nothing is wrong for them. We do everything right, everything, we're all goody two shoe. No, it's not. All right. And this is what pisses me off. And the fan base, and that's why these Michigan Avenger channels that I backstabbed they're all supporting the same stuff about Connor Stallions. And it's just gonna make us a mockery. We're just at this point, the fact that I went to a Big Ten 10K ran and people are calling me cheaters as a joke. I smiled, but I just didn't like it,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
yeah, it's just I don't know, dude. And these guys don't understand it, and I don't know what to say. And what I did, calling them out and giving them hell, Now I'm not gonna troll these guys because Mark, I don't troll and I don't talk crap about, like, I don't like go on a channel and try to mess their show up because I'm not like that. And I like you a lot, and I don't want to mess just your business and stuff. So I'm not like that. So. But I'm just really disappointed at how my fan base is still supporting, and even the co-hosts of many shows are supporting this guy. You know.
Yeah. So the disappointing portion of all this about human nature is
Yeah.
that you obviously, Burks, you can separate your fandom from facts and reality and objective analysis. You have the capability of doing that. Not many people have that ability. Um, so, for example, Urban Meyer has this issue with Zach Smith that
Yeah.
gets blown out. Whatever happened, I'm not going to dig it back up because I can't remember exactly, the step for step how it laid out, but certainly I covered it. I didn't shy away from it. And I'm not here to defend Urban Meyer, defend Zach Smith. I'm not here to, unless, I find out information in which that puts me in a position to do so. But at that point, this does not reflect upon me. I don't know why fans get so offended when coaches, players that they support, teams and organizations they support do things wrong, and they think that they have to take it upon themselves to defend them. No, they did something wrong. If Ohio State does something wrong, if they cheat, you know what I want? I want to have Ohio State uh, investigated and to have them held accountable, just like any other school in the country. It makes no difference to me. I want fair competition on the field, and regardless of the results, I want the truth to be known in any of these situations regarding any teams. So, when Urban Meyer's gone off and done stupid things off the field, people call in and they think like they're attacking me. And I just throw up my hands like, I don't have responsibility over the guy. Like, I think he's a great football coach. I supported him as the Ohio State football coach, but this has nothing to do with me. I'm going to tell it like it is. He made some stupid moves. He did wrong things. I'm not going to try to defend him just because he coached at Ohio State. Why am I going to defend somebody just because they wore certain laundry and coached for a certain football team or played for a certain football team? Wrong is wrong, So, people become too affiliated with their team and they wear it as a badge of honor, which is fine to a degree, but when it starts to cross a line of common sense and morality and ethics, then that's a problem.
Mark, I don't even have a Twitter. I used to have one like years back, like 2023. I didn't have it because of getting toxic. People are already making burner accounts of me. Like and saying terrible stuff. If I said this, not even my account. I want to like knock out whoever the hell made that account. But people are making burner accounts because of my views of and me, going to other channels and talking, stuff that I don't like what these other channels are doing because I love the University of Michigan and I want us to be the best fan base, the best university, the best athletic program. But unfortunately, we are light years away from that, man, because it's like we have no morals lately. And this Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh is the biggest hypocrite, Mark. You know, he just leaves Michigan with so many problems. We didn't have good recruiting class. He basically axed our program, took everyone away. Then he said, "Oh, I'm not apologizing." At least when you're the CEO of a damn program, man, a CEO of a company, you have to take responsibility. He's too arrogant to not take any responsibility. And then when the Judge and Courtman stuff happened, he didn't show up, and Michigan's probably gonna get a penalty for that. So this is the stuff that really is pissing me off and frustrated, and I'm really pissed off with my YouTube fan base. And if they all hate me, who cares? I'll just move on. But that's really what I just wanted to say, honestly.
Well, Burks, I appreciate you calling. And
Yeah. I
I
appreciate you for actually, accepting my call and
of course.
and not only that too, but just remember, I don't have a Twitter. People are making burner. One person made a burner account, me saying some awful stuff was not even me. So just so you know, I don't have a Twitter. If you see Burks the Wolverine, that is not me. I have Discord. That's it, and YouTube. So just letting you know, man.
I gotcha.
All
Well,
right,
Burks,
cool.
I hope you can disengage from this and
Yeah,
so your blood's not boiling and you can
yeah.
just enjoy the rest of the day.
And last quick question. I've been using your Amazon link. How does that help you? Because I'm just curious because I've been using it a lot. Your Amazon
So,
link.
depending on what you buy, I'm
Yeah.
glad you asked
Yeah.
because, hey, this is to me the most important question of the show would be
Yeah.
that. So, let's say you spend $100 on Amazon.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't cost you anything. It's the same $100 you would have sent all of it to Amazon. I get 3%, 5%, whatever percent. It depends on the product, but something in that 3 to 5% range.
Okay. That's perfect because I'm thinking of buying a Michigan helmet, like a legit painted one. It's $338. So I think you'll get some good credit on
I
that. So
appreciate that.
yeah, of course.
I would love to make money off of Michigan gear sales. Yes.
All right. Take care, my man. All right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Burks.
Yeah, of course.
Take
Appreciate it.
care.